On this week's edition of Connecticut Naturalist, we make a return visit to the flying squirrels. This time we see them as they glide from one tree to another. We explore a beaver pond. The beavers aren't around, but the haven they create attracts bluebirds, mallard ducks, and a variety of other species. Mourning doves come face to face with Will's camera, and robins are busy hunting for worms in a field. The Jefferson salamander makes his first appearance of the year. Spring peepers are crossing the road on their way to the vernal pools. Many other creatures, including these snails, are already at the pool. Finally, the wood frogs are in a frenzy to breed and lay eggs. All this and more on this week's edition of Connecticut Naturalist. And now, here's your host. Hello friends, I'm Will Michael and you're watching the Connecticut Naturalist. I'm here on Nocturnal Animal Patrol, and to my left I can hear some spring peepers. I'm out here tonight waiting for the rain. If it starts raining, the Jefferson salamanders should start their migration towards the vernal pools. While we're waiting, we'll take a look at some flying squirrel footage. Last week I encountered the squirrels for the first time. This week I went back and captured them in flight. This hollow cedar tree houses flying squirrels. Inside, I know that there's two, there may be more. So I'm going to stake out the territory for a while and see if I can observe any of their activity. The flying squirrels should come out the top of the tree and then jump over to this tree. That was their pattern in the past. Hopefully they'll keep it up. The first squirrel just came out of the treetop. It's a little timid and ran back into the nest. Alright, maybe now he'll jump. Nope, not yet. Okay, this is it. Watch closely as the flying squirrel perches on the tree. It's so small and fast it's difficult to film. Watch closely. Any second now. There it goes. It happened fast. We'll take another look, this time in slow motion. Luckily, there's two squirrels in the tree, so we'll try to get a better shot. That's a little better, but it's still so fast. Here again is a slow motion view. The flying squirrel stretches its legs and spreads a flap of skin that is used to glide through the air. We'll get a better shot when they fly again from higher up in the tree. We've got two squirrels in this tree now. While we're waiting for them to fly again, we'll talk about some facts of their life. They have a flap of skin on the sides of their bodies that attaches to the front and hind ankles. When they stretch out their legs, they extend the flap of skin. Flying squirrels can glide over large distances. Scientists say there's a 1-to-3 ratio of vertical feet to horizontal feet. That means that for 1 foot of vertical distance, the squirrel can fly 3 feet horizontally. If the squirrel jumped from a 100-foot tree, it could easily fly 300 feet. When landing, the squirrel lowers its flat tail and raises its paws, creating resistance, much like an airplane. They steer themselves by tightening or loosening the flaps of skin on either side. We have two types of flying squirrels in North America. This is the southern flying squirrel. Although flying squirrels are small, they are voracious predators. They'll eat baby mice, voles, bird eggs, baby birds, carrion, as well as nuts, seeds, and berries. Alright, the squirrel is about to glide, this time over a farther distance. Listen to my emotion as I witness the flight for the first time. Oh jeez, there they go. Oh my gosh, he's all the way up. I'm gonna get him flying. There he goes. Wow. Did you see him? I know it's small and difficult to see, but you can at least see what the squirrel looks like as it glides among the trees. No wonder they're so difficult to spot in the forest. Here's the other squirrel. This one's getting ready to make her flight. Slow motion helps with seeing the squirrel. I've seen them in flight, and in the future, I'll try to get closer footage as they glide through the air. We're going to take this bird feeder, put some sunflower seeds in, then put it up on our tree, leave it for the flying squirrels. So we'll be back at night, see if we can observe the nocturnal activity of the flying squirrels if they come to our feeding station. In future episodes, I'll be filming the flying squirrels' nocturnal activities. Now we'll take a look at a beaver pond in Redding, Connecticut. The beavers built a large dam and a lodge and created this pond. The beavers aren't around today, but their sanctuary attracts other animals. Here we have a male bluebird. He's perched on the shore of the pond. It's a windy day, but the sun is shining brightly on his blue plumage. Beavers change the environments around them more than any other animal. The ponds and wetlands they create attracts other animals, such as these mallard ducks. The ducks are feeding on underwater vegetation. This pond is separate from where the beaver lodge is located. A hawk soars overhead, patrolling the shoreline for a meal. In the grass surrounding the pond, many rodents come to the shore for a drink. Maybe someday we'll see the hawk dive down and capture its prey. Here's an old stump that the beavers chewed a few years ago. Now it's a garden for a colony of shelf mushrooms. Camouflaged among the leaves, painted lady butterflies are active for the spring. Adults are tolerant of cold and often overwinter. They're one of the first butterflies active at this time of year. Look at the beautiful coloration, the orange and the black spots, with a few white spots near the tips of the wings. In future episodes, we'll be paying close attention to the beaver activity at the pond. What do we have here? A moth is attracted to my lantern. Or maybe he's just a ham and wants to be on the Connecticut Naturalist TV program. Either way, here's some footage of some mourning doves. As I was preparing to do some filming in the forest, I saw these mourning doves feeding in my yard. They were close by, so I set up my camera. The mourning dove's name is spelled Mourning, the type of mourning synonymous with being sad. Sometimes, people think their name refers to mourning as in the time of day. Their name is sad because they have a woeful call. Mourning doves are just about always in pairs of two, a male and female. They're stocky birds and poor flyers. They're always slow when they take off into flight. From a distance, they appear to be a dull gray, but as they walk towards the camera, you can see faint pink and shadows of blue in their feathers. When the doves flap their wings, a high whistling sound is created. This is not their call. It's just a vibration created by the wings as they push through the air. Next to the mourning doves, crocus flowers open for the afternoon sun. Here's another patch of crocuses on one of the swamp trails that I often walk. It's growing alone among the dead phragmites. The purple and white colors look even brighter against the gray and brown earth. Just look at that. Here's a small bee, busy getting nectar from the flowers. Look at how covered the bee is in pollen. She's caked in yellow powder. As she gets nectar, the pollen from the anthers sticks to her body. As the bee moves from flower to flower, she transfers pollen from the male part, the stamen, to the female structure, the pistil. And there she goes. No rain yet, but, oh dear, it's Edgar Eagle again. Edgar's a diurnal animal, but he's out at night for some strange reason. What's up, Edgar? Edgar hasn't gotten enough bird footage. The robins have returned for spring, so let's take a look at them now. As the ground begins to thaw in March, the worms return to the surface of the soil, and robins hunt them in this field. The short grass of people's lawns is perfect for robins because there is no brush for them to have to look through. They can easily pick through the short grass and snatch any worms on or just under the ground. If you have time to watch robins hunt, you'll be amazed at how many worms they catch within a few minutes. I don't know how there's enough food to support all the robins around here. Sometimes small groups of robins winter over in Connecticut. I don't know how they find enough to eat and survive the cold and the snow. It's a mystery, but I'm going to do some research and find the answers. In the bushes surrounding the field, we catch a glimpse of a male cardinal. That radiant red is always a special sight. Edgar has made himself at home out here, next to my lantern. Under the cloudy skies, we're awaiting the rainfall. You may recognize this table as the same place that I film all of my show introductions. During the week, I found a mysterious message from a viewer, so here's a look. I came to do some filming and found a message that someone left for me. The mystery person wrote my name out of sticks and left 2 bottles for me. If you have any information as to who left this mystery message, please contact me. So remember, friends, I just felt a raindrop. Edgar, wake up! It's starting to rain. The Jeffersons! It's raining lightly now, and the Jefferson salamanders are beginning their migration to the vernal pools. This Jefferson is crossing the road on his march. It's dangerous for him to be out here because other motorists are unaware of the migration. As they speed along the road far over the speed limit, they crush many salamanders that are trying to cross. Some cruel people even hit the salamanders on purpose. It's terrible. The Jeffersons are currently under close watch by scientists. They are interbreeding with the blue-spotted salamander, and a new hybrid species is being created. Also on the road are spring peepers. These tiny frogs, like the Jeffersons, are on their way to the vernal pools. Whenever I find amphibians in the road, I make sure to pick them up and escort them off the perilous road. Here's another spring peeper. According to Connecticut Amphibian Monitoring Project studies, 24 to 25 cars on a road per hour can reduce salamander numbers in a given area. I put a penny next to the peeper so you can see just how small this frog is. That's an adult. After they lay their eggs, I'll show you how small the tadpoles are when they hatch in just a few more weeks. The rain is letting up. I don't know if many more Jeffersons will be out tonight. This one may be earlier than the rest of his species. We'll take a walk to the vernal pool and see what's happening. So we're walking down the path towards the vernal pool. The rain has let up, so I don't know if the salamanders will continue their migration, but we'll see what's happening. Unfortunately, tonight is not the night for the salamander congregation. It's still a little early. There's no salamanders in the pool tonight, but other life forms are here. Here is a group of snails. The snails are breeding. There's one female, the large snail, and 2 males attached to her. The vernal pool is filled with all sorts of different organisms. In future episodes, we'll document many insects that inhabit the pool. Here is a larva of some type of mayfly or midgefly. It's hard to tell the difference. But look at the green algae and the way the flashlight is illuminating the water. It's pitch black in the forest, and without light, none of this would be visible. I'd like to say a special thanks to Thomas Edison for inventing the light bulb. Without his invention, none of this nocturnal activity could be observed. It's not raining at all anymore. That's why the salamanders aren't here. The exodus should occur within the next few nights. Heavy rains are predicted. You'll have to wait until the next episode to see the salamander pilgrimage. This shot offers a good view of the foot of each individual snail as they move over the leaf. Freshwater snails are common in vernal pools in Connecticut. We also have land snails, with shells that can grow larger than a quarter. We didn't have enough rain last night to bring out the massive exodus of Jeffersons or yellow spotteds. I'm at the vernal pool in the daytime now. The warm weather has brought the wood frogs out. You can hear them in the background, so let's see what they're up to. Although we didn't have enough rain last night for the salamanders, the temperature is warm enough for the wood frogs to make their return to the vernal pools. This is a different pool than the one I was filming at last night. There are so many wood frogs in here, you'd never believe it. There's hundreds of male frogs clucking, trying to attract females. The volume is incredible. It sounds like a flock of ducks quacking. The males are in such a frenzy that it's easy for me to film. As long as I stay still, they'll carry on with their business. A predaceous diving beetle hunts underwater while the frogs cluck above. What does the diving beetle think about all this commotion? Wood frog coloration ranges from dark brown to light tan. They have a white stripe running down the sides of the face. They also have 2 dorsal ridges that are on both sides of their back. Wood frogs spend most of their lives on land in the forest. They are terrestrial and return to the water of the pools only to breed and lay eggs. Here we have a breeding pair of wood frogs. The male is smaller and the female is on the bottom. She's larger. You can see the range in wood frog coloration. The male is a darker brown and the female is a light tan. She almost looks pink. The male squeezes the eggs out of the female. As the eggs are released, they are fertilized. Egg masses are laid in globular clumps that females attach to underwater twigs or grasses. Sometimes several females will lay their eggs on the same twig or branch. resulting in a mega mass of eggs. Sometimes the mass measures half a meter in diameter. The mega mass of eggs keeps individual eggs warmer because there is more jelly to keep them insulated. Hopefully, after the breeding is finished, I'll be able to find a mass of eggs and film them for you. There are frogs everywhere in the pool. I'm now going to show you a series of cuts from different frogs around the pond. I hope you get the feeling that you're surrounded by frogs, because that's what it's like when you're next to the pool. By June, this pool will be totally dried up. There will be no sign of the frogs. All the larvae will have metamorphosized into adults and will be dwelling in the forest. This is a true vernal pool. Some other pools where I do filming do not dry up and exist all year. The definition of a vernal pool is under debate by some, but remember, if the water lacks fish, it's potentially a breeding habitat for amphibians. As the camera pans right, try counting all of the frogs you see on screen. This shot again shows the vast number of frogs. As I was filming the frogs, I looked up into the trees surrounding the vernal pool and discovered I wasn't the only one watching the activity. A red-tailed hawk is perched on a branch overlooking the pool. The hawk is spying down on the frogs. If the opportunity is right, the hawk will swoop down and snatch a frog. The frogs don't know they're being watched. The hawk is still up in the tree. Unfortunately, after that last shot, some people approached and scared the hawk away. Now we'll never know what would have happened. That's one annoying part about filming. Sometimes, you're filming an animal and other people see the camera and approach loudly, not being aware that the camera is on for a reason. Here's a final look at the world of the wood frog. There's so many frogs in the water, the camera can't focus on all of them. All of those ripples that you see are being created by frogs. All of those brown circular shapes are frogs. There's so many in here that they're probably raising the level of the pool by an inch or two. Well, I don't know about that, but there sure are a lot of frogs here. I'm sitting on a mossy area at the edge of the pool. I'm filming from above the water. Eventually, I'll have an underwater enclosure for my camera. I'll be able to film the frogs from underwater and see all the activity that goes on, including the egg laying. Wood frogs eat small insects found in the forest. In turn, the wood frogs are preyed upon by a variety of vertebrates, including that red-tailed hawk we just saw. Raccoons and snakes will also feed on frogs. Here's another breeding pair. Again, notice the color difference between the male and the female. When the juvenile wood frogs hatch out of the eggs, they have to be careful of green frogs. Green frogs come into the vernal pools and devour the young wood frog larvae. We'll document the development of the juvenile wood frogs inside the eggs. We'll be there when they hatch, and we'll observe the activity of the tadpoles. Well, friends, we've come to the end of another episode. Stay tuned next week as we continue to examine other species of emerging amphibians. I'll be sure to film the spring peepers, and the yellow-spotted salamanders could come out any night. Thanks again. I'm Will Michael, and you've been watching the Connecticut Naturalist. Here comes another animal music video.
I got a date across the pond. Ribbit, ribbit, I am a frog. Ribbit, ribbit, laughing on a log. I love mosquitoes, taste like candy with wings. Don't kiss me, I am not a prince. I spend my days where horseflies meet the fish. Winter is cold, I burrow down under the ground. It's cozy in my muddy cave. Spring rolls around, rain splashes on my head. The ice is melted, time to swim again. Ribbit, ribbit, I am a frog. Ribbit, ribbit, floating in the pond. Swamp life is fine, but I'm moving into town. Need a change of pace from the green. I live inside a brand new kitchen sink.